Okay, let's start taking notes. The first topic for today will be called arrays in C. Arrays in C. Does anybody know the definition for arrays in C or arrays in general? Not. So it's basically write it down, listen. It's basically a collection of similar data types. So it's basically a collection of similar data types. Okay, so for example, if I define, say, 3 variables, something like this. And the question is, instead of defining 3 variables, define just 1 variable and save everything into it. Question clear? Instead of defining 3 different variables, define just 1 variable and put everything into it. That variable will be called the array. So instead of these 3, we'll just define 1. And this is how we do it. Can you guys see it, or should I zoom in? Right, does anyone know how to define the array? Okay, right now you say int, and you give a name of the array. Let's call it A. Listen. And you open bracket like this. Wait, don't talk. And inside this bracket, you give a number. And what is the meaning of this number? It is the length of the array. How many numbers do you want to save in the array? Make a note. The number here is the length of the array. You say equal and open curly brackets like that. Curly brackets. And give the 3 numbers here. So instead of these 3, just define 1 array and save the 3 things inside the array. Does that make sense? Let's get rid of this. So now if the question is, what is the position of 3? The index is 0, but you say A bracket 0. So if you see something like this, A bracket 0, this means position of 3. If you see A bracket 1, this is the position of 4, and if you say A bracket 2, it's a position of 2. What if A bracket 3? It's not possible because we only define an array of length 3. Make sense? Now let's see how to print an array one at a time. So you start the same way, printf, and open a bracket. And double quotes, you say the first value is what is the identifier for an integer variable? Percentage D, remember. And instead of A, I should write A bracket 0. Does that make sense? So now if I run this, what should be the output? Yeah, let's say the first. So let's run and see this. What is the error here? Yeah, Manish? Yeah.
We need a semicolon.
Very good. We need a semicolon after the array. And if I run this, right, that is the output. If I put here 2 and run this, what should be the output? Somebody tell me.
The first value is 4.
Are you going to say the first value is 4, even though you should say the third value? Yeah, because the third value. Simple. Does it make sense? Okay, now write down how to make a character array. So this was the integer array. Now let's see a character array. So for this, instead of int, what should I type? We want to do character array, so we say char. Anything else here? Instead of a number, you have to give. So if I give something like this, comma B, let's see if it works. Anything else needs changing? The D should be C. Let's see if it works. What should the output be? Fingers crossed. If it works. What is the error? What is the issue here? Let's try single quotes. Now if I run this, look at that. So make a note for character array, you'll have to put single quotes. So now the question is, what if I want to increase the length of the characters? So for example, I want to do ABC here or something like that. Exactly, we want to increase the length of the characters. If I run this, it doesn't work. Now what do we do? Anyone? So I'll make a note. Instead of this, we give 2 brackets here. We give double brackets and we also give another number here. Make a note here, if you want to increase the length, you give 2 brackets and increase the number. The second one is the length of each string. And now the second number here is the length of each string.
Can you repeat the line?
Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to increase the length of the string. What we should do is we should give a second bracket here and give another number here. And let's see if single quotes work. What is the other change we need here? Anybody else? And just write down, instead of %C, we'll need %S. Make a note. If you increase the length, we'll need %S, which is the string. Let me see if I'm recording. I have %S. Now let's run this and check. So now what is the error? Double quotes. Make a note, for this thing you will need double quotes.
So why is this specific for that?
What?
I mean,
String, no, that's why. Double quotes. And single quotes is for single characters. And now if I run this, now remember C is an old language, that's why this is a little bit antiquated, but the new languages are way better. So now if I run this, and that's how you get the output. And just make a note, similarly you can do for float. You can try for float when you practice. Okay, right now next thing, now how to take array as an input. We'll do one at a time. Okay, we'll do one at a time input. Let's try with integer inputs. But you should know this now. How should I start? I want to take an array as an input and print out, say, the first digit. How should I start this program? Before that? Yeah, before that? You're supposed to define the array. So you say define a, let's do size 2. What should you do next? Printf. And you say enter the first value. And then you say scanf and open a bracket. Take notes here, I'll give you time to practice. We won't do a lot today, but at least a little bit. Scanf, open a bracket. Right, what should I do next? Scan F, who remembers? Wait, Jaidev, another try. Somebody else? What should go in scan F? Very good. Percentage D. Ampersand, and then A bracket 0. You take the first position at 0. Everybody don't talk. And semicolon. Let's take the second value the same way. Now what should change in the second line here?
Instead of 0, 1.
Very good. Instead of 0, you should put
1.
Let's print out the first value. Print F, first value. Percentage D slash N. We don't talk. Okay, let's try and run this now. Okay, let's run it. What number should I enter? 5, enter. Give a number. 2. Now what should be the output? Let's say the first value is 5. Pretty simple. You should know this now. Any questions here? Okay, let's write down a second topic for today will be functions in C. Okay, now can somebody explain what is a function in a programming language?
We use function to make our work avoid repetition.
Right, so the first use of a function is to avoid repetition. Write down. And this is a very important concept in programming language. But what is a function? Can somebody explain? In any other class, have you done functions in programming language? What is a function? I think we did this in another class. I'll write down basically a function is block of code to perform certain task. And now write down there are 3 parts to a function. So 3 parts to a function. The first part will be to declare a function. The second part will be to call the function. And the third part will be to define the function. Should I repeat that? The first part is to declare the function. The second part is to call the function. And the third part is to define the function. We're going to write down step 1 to define the function. And make a note, the function should be defined above your main function. So between the library and the main function. So define your function here, declare your function here on the top.
So can you repeat the define sentence?
For 3 parts.
You just said the one you just said.
So declaring the function is on the top.
The function should be defined.
No, the function should be defined at the bottom, but let's do declaring first. To declare the function, you have to do it on the top of the code. I said define, but it should be declared. Yeah.
Declare on the top of code.
Yeah, so declare the function between the library and the main part of your function, of your code. And write down, this is how we define it.
Sir.
Yeah.
The library and
The main part of your code. You guys don't talk. Yeah. The names are getting recorded in the video, okay? So it'll be there forever now. People will know that you are the one talking. Okay, right now this is how we declare the function.
he said he will put strike on you.
Strike on
I
me.
say
Strike copyright.
Oh yeah. Alright, you start by saying void and give a name to the function. So let's call it welcome. And open and close the bracket and put semicolon. Just make a note. If you write void at the beginning, it means that this function will not return any values. Write this important point down. If you write void at the beginning, this function will not return any values. So let's just make a function to print welcome to university, something like this. Let's make a function that can print welcome to university. So this should be step 1. Is to declare the function on the top. Step 2 is to define the function. Write down step 2 is to define the function. And to define the function, you should go below your main code. So at the bottom here, we will define the function. And this is how you start. You say void welcome and open and close bracket. And after that, you do open and close curly brackets like that. And whatever you want this function to do, you do it between these two curly brackets. So now what do we want this function to do? We just want it to print welcome to. So in here you say printf and in double quotes welcome to. That's how we call them there. This is step 2. Take notes.
Yeah, taking.
I'll check, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Is it important we have to write the void welcome editor?
We have to?
Write the void welcome editor.
That's the standard way to do it. We're just doing step by step basic. We can also do directly here. Yeah. So we just do. Yeah. We want to advance step by step basic for now, yeah? Fine, this is step 2. What should be step 3? We've declared it, we've defined it. We need to call the function. So right now step 3 is to call the function. Remember, this is just the basics of it, okay? Once you learn it, you can do advanced stuff. So this is just the basics. And remember, the calling of the function has to be inside the main function or the main part of your code. So step 1 you do on the top. Step 2 you do at the bottom. And step 3 you do inside the main part of your code. And to call a function, all you have to do is write down the name of the function. Okay, so now if I run this, what should be the output? If I just run this, the output is, so we've defined a function and we've used it to print welcome to university. Does that make sense? And now whenever you want to print welcome to university, all you have to do is go inside the main and type welcome. So you don't need to write printf every time. You just need to write the name of the function. So now if I run this, what should be the output? Welcome to university how many times? How do we fix this? How do we get it on the next line? So in here we say backslash n. And now hopefully it should be on the next line. Does that make sense? Okay, now write down this was type 1 of a function. This is type 1 of a function, the basic type. I know this is reading week. We'll study a little bit more, okay? 15-20 minutes more, then you can study if you want. Okay, right now type 2 is passing arguments in a function. Write down, very important, passing arguments in a function. We'll do integer arguments. Type 2 is passing arguments in a function. Does anybody know where does the argument go? No, Jalen, not you. Somebody else guess. How do we pass an argument to a function? Anybody guess? Have you not done introduction to programming or something? Where does the arguments go?
In the brackets.
Very good. They go in the brackets here. Make a note. The arguments go in the brackets of the function. Okay, so let's write a function. Right now, let's write a type 2 function where you take an integer value from a user and print it on the screen. So write down, the question is, write a program to take an integer value from a user and print it on the screen. Take an integer value from a user and print it on the screen using a function. Write a function type 2 to take an integer value from a user and print it on the screen.
We have a doubt, sir. She asking like if we want to print multiple times, like we can do this thing with the printer.
Yeah.
Why using different stuff?
No, we can do advanced stuff, of course. We're just learning the basic, how to take an argument and then print it. But learn the basic and then we'll get there, yeah? This is what you do. You say int n in the brackets. So we pass the argument here. It's int n. Okay, then in your function here, over here as well, you say int n. And instead of just welcome to university over here, you say the value entered is normal printf function %d, put a comma, And what should I put here? N, because that's the argument. We can use for, if, everything, okay, but not in this class. This class, our main aim is to learn the system calls. So we'll learn the basics and then we'll move on to system calls. Okay, and in the main function, do the rest. So let's take a value here, printf, enter value, then is anything missing here though? We need to define the integer here as well. And scanf. Percentage %d, very good. You're getting the hang of it now. And ampersand n. And then how do I call the function? How do I call the function? Not hello. We're not like calling the function. How do we call the function here?
Name and
All you have to do is write down the name of the function. And in the bracket, just the n. You can also give a value, but we are taking the value from the user. And hopefully this should work. Okay, if I run this, what should be the first line here? Somebody from this side. Somebody tell me, if I run this, what should be the first line here? It should be enter value, very good. So let's do it, enter value. If I give a value, what should be the output? Yeah, site. If I give a value here, what should be the output? No? Trace? This is not difficult now. At the back?
Value enter is whatever the value is.
So if I give 5 here, I press enter, it should say value enter is 5. Right, because it takes the value and prints using this. Not bad, right? Simple. Now let's do one more function, type 3. Now let's do type 3, one more function for today.
Sir.
Yeah.
Error.
Sorry?
Error.
We'll check. When we practice, we'll check. Yeah. What is it? What? Are you typing?
In scanf percentage %d, comma n, I have an error. It shows me n is wrong.
Did you define it here?
Yeah.
We'll check when we practice. Yeah, just keep it. Just take notes for now. Okay, write down type 3 of a function. This function will return a value. So type 3 function, a little bit advanced now. It will return a value. And let's say it will take two parameters, or you can pass two arguments. Instead of one, let's do two arguments. And the question is to add the two values and give the output. You should be able to do this now. So the question is, write a function that will return a value, take in two parameters, or you pass two arguments, and the function should add the two values and print the output.
So the question is, write a function
Write a function that will return a value, which will take in two parameters, and it should add these two values and return the sum. So write down a function that will return a value. You have to start with whatever value is going to return. So let's start with int, not void anymore, int. You don't start with void, you start with int. And in here you give two parameters. So you say int a comma int b, something like this. So write down this int here will return an integer value, and these two integers here are the arguments. This is what you have to provide. And let's call the function whatever it's going to do. So let's call it add. This is step one. Help me out here. What should be step two? This is step one. Now how should I do step two? Where should I go? Go to the bottom of your code. And in here you say int add. In here you should say int a comma int b. And in this part of the code, what should you do? Do the calculation. So somebody help me. How do I do the calculations here?
There's these two values, adding them.
Yes. How do I do this? But say step by step. What do I do?
Step by step.
So tell me one line here. Then. So we define a new variable, say integer z, and somebody else. Who do I do now? Very good. Z equals a plus b. And then you want to print this out. Very good. Printf. You say the sum of the two values is %d n and comma. What should I put in the comma? Very good. You put the z. Very good. This was step two. Now what should be step three? Somebody giving the values, but where do we do that? Into the main thing, and that is called calling the function. We go back up here and define the two. We're doing step by step. Okay, once you learn, you can do advanced stuff. And then what do I do? No, we're not taking in values. When you practice, you can take values. Let's just directly give the values. What do we do?
Call the function add
So we say add
and parameter same.
and give two values. Say 3 and
Start.
we're directly giving in the numbers. When you practice, you take in two values and give the output. Anything else? If I just run this, the output should be
We have to return it. We have to return back
this one, no?
in the function.
Returns.
Return value, integer. We have to return it. So
Yes.
we are making the int add.
Yeah, so here we have to return. Very good. Here we have to return that. Okay, now let's hope and run this. I think the printf should be here or in the main function. Let's try. So if I run this, what is the error here? This printf should be in the main function here. And let's call this int another. Just making this complicated, but let's see. And here we say, see, here you can directly say return a plus b. You don't have to do this, okay? You can just say return a plus b here. So in here, say int c equals add 3, 5. And printf this thing here. If I run this, look at that. When you practice, you take in two values and do all of this. Don't directly give the numbers here. Take in two values from the user, maybe multiply them, and give the output. Okay, let me stop recording this much.